Hello? This story has been told by my cellmate. I have to warn you, he wasn't a normal person. Story: my name is Liam, and my story involves my ex-wife who was the evilest person on earth. Her name was Amelia. I met Amelia 5 years ago while running my clinic in London as a well-known dental surgeon. She came to my clinic to get her root canal done. Never in my life had I even thought I would date and marry one of my patients. Amelia just seemed different. The moment she stepped into my clinic, she had walked in with a plan to capture my heart and marry me. She looked gorgeous. She was all dressed up. She was even wearing makeup. Who wears makeup when going to the dentist? I was screwing my head over this strangeness when she spoke about it as if she had read my mind. She said she was back from a party at a friend's place when the pain got terrible, so she had to come here straight. I was relieved to hear a rational explanation for this. I got to work and thought of how beautiful Amelia was the entire time. I even scolded myself in my head to stay focused on my job. This was not me. I was not the kind of person who gets distracted by women this easily, but this woman was just different. Amelia was about to leave when I summoned every inch of courage to ask if she was single. Amelia looked surprised at my question, but she nodded. I wondered if I could have her number, and she gave it to me without saying another word. From that day, we started texting. Amelia really was an exciting person. She was a model and a fashion designer. That was evident in her entire aura. She always seemed in style, as if she knew what to wear all the time. Her pictures on her social media accounts were amazing and significantly spoke about her. Her personality was very bubbly and lively. That was what I perceived from her texts. She was full of energy and kept the conversations interesting. I am a less enthusiastic and quiet person. After texting for about a month, I asked her out, knowing I wanted to be with her. I asked her if there was some specific place she would like to go to. She said she wanted to go to a museum. I thought it was weird, but she suggested it, so I could not say no. We went to an art museum. I am not a big fan of arts and literature, but Amelia was all about it as we entered the museum. She asked me if I thought it was weird to go to a museum together on our first date. I hesitantly smiled and nodded. She said that looking at these things together would let us know much more about each other than we would have discussed at a restaurant. Her answer baffled me, as she turned out to be correct. From our first date, I learned that Amelia was a brilliant woman. She was more than just good looks and expensive clothes. She fascinated me in countless ways. Our marriage was a normal one, like all other marriages. There were arguments and conflicts, but they were resolved by both of us logically. Everything was fine until I went to Amelia's studio one day with some donuts. I just thought it would be a small treat for her, but it was the worst day of my life. I was going to walk in when I saw her with her photographer. She was sitting on him. I quickly retreated and went back to my car. I drove away, not knowing where I was going. I could not think clearly. Everything had gotten hazy around me. I only had that image in front of my eyes. I kept driving around like some maniac and finally went home. I dumped the donuts into the dustbin. I wanted to leave Amelia in that dustbin and never see her again, but that was too easy. I could not let her get away with this so quickly. I was going to be harsh and make her life living hell. It was just what I had to do. Amelia got home that noon. When she entered the kitchen, she saw the box of donuts in the dustbin. She came to me and asked me about them. I told her I had bought them for her, but they fell on the road and I had to throw them away. She made a sad pout and left. At that moment, I began to ponder upon my next move. I had to do some permanent damage that would make her regret her cheating on me. As a dentist, I wanted to ruin her teeth in any way possible, so the next day, I began to convince her to come to my clinic so I could for her routine checkup. Amelia was often reluctant when it came to checkups. I don't know why, but she was sort of careless when it came to her health. I always had to force her for these things. Being a doctor, I was very particular about these things. However, this time I had other things on my mind. I was going to mess her health up. After a lot of convincing, Amelia came to the clinic on Saturday. She wanted me to check her teeth. I had huge plans. I pretended to observe her teeth. I gasped and faked a worried face. I began to act alarmed as if something was incredibly wrong with her. Amelia got worried at my response and began to ask what was wrong. I asked her that some tests had to be run and some x-rays had to be done before I deduced her issues. Amelia got distressed, which made my heart light up with joy. When we went home, Amelia began to ask me what was wrong with her. I kept up the charade of acting all worried but consoling her that it won't be anything serious. Hopefully, I could see how upset Amelia had gotten, but I had to do this. I tried to stop myself, but I couldn't. A week later, all the test results and the x-ray was done. I got home and waited for Amelia to return as she had gone for another photo shoot. I wondered whether it was another photo shoot or if she was busy with other men behind my back. Amelia got home at about 6 in the evening. As she came home, I began to act. I told her that she had some severe gum disease and had to start the treatment immediately, or she might suffer a permanent loss of teeth. Amelia began to cry. She began to blabber and talk nonsense. She began to cry that her modeling career would end. I did not console her or say she would get well soon. I just sat there soaking in the beautiful sight of Amelia crying. It felt like I had 0 ounces of sympathy for her. She had turned my heart stone cold by cheating on me. After an hour, her crying began to give me a headache. So I hugged her and consoled her by saying that we would start the treatment immediately and she should trust that she would get fine, Sue. Amelia hugged me back and did not let go of me for half an hour. I made dinner for us and served her with my hands to make her feel loved. After that, I put her to bed and I began to decide my next move. After 2 days, I told Amelia I would have to perform surgery on her. It was all a part of my plan. Amelia reacted hysterically when she heard of surgery. She was terrified of such stuff. I was going to do what she feared the most. The fear in her eyes gave me satisfaction. Her cry was music to my ears. We decided to perform her surgery the next week. I was expecting Amelia to mention that I should consult some other surgeons for second opinions, but to my surprise, she did not. She was scared, obviously, but she did not resist as much. Before her surgery, she kept hugging me for a long time. I kept faking and consoling her in words I did not mean. Finally, I began her surgery. I did what I wanted to. I ruined her otherwise perfect teeth. I messed up everything as I wanted to. I got Amelia home later that night. I cared for her in all ways as if I were the most caring husband in this world. She did know that. In reality, I had ruined her health and taken my revenge on her. Within a few days, Amelia's teeth began to decay and fall. She understood that the surgery had not cured whatever was wrong with her. She began to get hopeless given that her teeth were falling out. Her gums were also bleeding all the time. Amelia trusted me so much that she was sure I would cure her. She had no idea I was the one who was inflicting all this pain on her. After her surgery, Amelia changed a lot. Her health was obviously deteriorating, but most evidently her mental health was getting destroyed faster. She was getting depressed with each passing day. She had constant panic attacks. I wanted to leave her just like that, but I was not done with my revenge. There was still more left. To increase her health issues, I also began to mess up with the medicines. I always gave her the wrong medicines, which only worsened her condition. I often gave her the wrong dose. I gave her the wrong dose. I gave her the medicines with my own hands. Amelia was smart, and she did keep a check on the medicines. That was why I was switching her medicines one night when she walked into the room and saw me doing so. She got curious and asked why I was doing that. My heart stopped beating for a millisecond. I thought she had discovered what I had been doing, but to my utter relief, she had not found out. So I just smiled and fed her another lie that her medicine had to be changed now. She nodded and believed what I had said. Giving her the wrong medicine really destroyed her. She could no longer eat and had to be brought on a liquid diet. She was getting thinner and paler with every passing day. It seemed as if she was gradually fading away, and that was all I wanted. Seeing her condition made me happy every day. I thought I could have easily divorced her, but would never have enjoyed seeing her in pain. At one point, Amelia became too weak to even walk properly. That was when I realized she was becoming a nuisance for me. I did not want to help her in those days. She was adding a burden to my life, and I was done. I had to kick her out of my life now as she was annoying me more. So I got the divorce papers ready and gave them to her one evening. I did not wait for her to respond and walked away. She called me from behind, but nothing on this planet would make me stay. Our divorce was done, and I was living a good life, making money for my clinic and starting my own business. It was all great. One day, after 6 months of my divorce, Amelia came by my house one day. I'm still determining how or from where she got this new address, but she turned up at my door unannounced. I opened the door and I stood frozen for a few seconds. We had not talked since the divorce. Amelia looked angry and hurt at the same time. She asked me why I had done this to her. I wanted to slap her for coming to my house and asking this question, but I tried to stay calm. I told her I saw her cheating and that everything I did was justified. She deserved it all. Amelia looked at me in disbelief. She said that I was an animal with no empathy inside me. I gave her no answer. I returned to my house and shut the door in her face whilst she stood outside, cursing me and crying hysterically. I did not care the least for her now. I was happy a few days after her visit. There was a knock on the door. I went to open it and there were police standing outside. They had an arrest warrant. They took me to jail. I called my lawyer and I got bail. Turned out Amelia had filed the case against me. After the divorce, as she had gone to another dentist for her treatment, the truth was revealed to her. So she decided to take the matter to court. I did not deny the charges once. I explained my side of the story. I told my motive, which was revenge for my wife who had cheated on me with her photographer. Amelia was shocked to see me say it all out with no regrets. Her expression instantly changed. The case went on for months. Finally, the court gave its decision. My medical license was cancelled. I was no more eligible to practice. My clinic was shut down. I was sentenced in jail for 5 years. Looking back on my life, I do not regret what I did. I do not even regret marrying Amelia and her cheating on me, because that eventually led me to where I am today. I have passed 3 years of my sentence and 2 years are still left. I don't know where life will take me after I get out of prison. I will have no job. I won't be able to practice medicine anymore. A lot of my friends had turned against me after listening about what I had done, but I am still okay. I do not regret anything. I knew I did what I had to do to make myself better. I was in immense pain after what my wife had put me through, and it was impossible to deal with that pain so easily. I am not exactly happy in prison, but I do not regret my actions. Sometimes you just have no choice in what you do. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the video. Everything helps for the algorithm.